is the cable kit. This is the KVM. It's all labeled. We're going to go over what to plug in where shortly. What to connect is mostly these cables that are included. USB cables and a flat cable for the ALU. Okay, we're going to mount our PC on the side of the cabinet. We've taken out these two screws that hold the top on. And we have our PC here. We got to figure out which orientation. I want to mount it this way. So what that means is we're going to install our bracket as so. We're going to screw those screws in right now. All done. So now the bracket, using the same screws that came from those holes, are now in the brackets. And now we're just going to screw them back in there. They fit perfectly. Presto! The computer is solidly attached. Top is still solidly attached. Everything works great. No new holes, no new hardware. Now we can just plug the power and USB in and we're good to go. If you're changing from our Pandora box mod and changing to the PC, then there'll be a couple cables that you're going to take out. There's the USB and the HDMI flat cables that are in there. You're just going to remove them. If this is a first time install, obviously there's nothing there yet. So we're going to use the new flat cable included in the kit. It has a female end on the one side. That's what's different. So insert that into HDMI. While we're at the front, we're going to disconnect the USB cable and we're going to pull that through to the back. The USB that was in the control deck you bring to the back and you plug into the KVM where it says ALU. And next we take the USB cable. It has two potential ends on it, either USB A or C. And you have two choices. You can plug it in where it says control deck, or you can plug it in on the USB-C end if you plug the cable in like that. Either way works exactly the same. So now we're going to take that cable, plug it back into the control deck. And now the control deck can be moved back into place. We are not putting anything in USB this time. Next, take the other USB cable and plug it in where it says PC. And then we're going to take the other end and we're going to plug it in at the bottom of the PC is best in one of the many USB ports. We supply an HDMI to DisplayPort cable. The HDMI end is going to go into the flat cable that we did earlier. And then the DisplayPort end is going to plug into the DisplayPort that's closest to the USB ports. We suggest mounting the toggle switch on the side of the PC like that. You can put it wherever you want. You could put it up at the top if you'd rather keep it out of the way. The only important thing is to plug the end of the toggle switch into the side of the KVM. That is now going to switch the controller back and forth. So there are a couple other ports labeled. You can see the bit pixel can be plugged into there if you want to switch it between systems. And the retro shooter hub could be plugged in there if you want to switch that back and forth between systems. But you can also plug the retro shooter directly into the PC, of course. So we suggest cleaning up the cables by just shoving them down into the machine. And the KVM can actually be taped down. And we suggest positioning it something like that. And that gives you good access and control. We have other videos showing how to install the IRs. There's a few different ways. You can drill through the screen. You can hide it under the speakers like we have there. The bottom ones you'll tuck under the control deck. But they need to get 12 volts of power. The easiest way to do that is with our power harness cable that we offer. And here's how you install that. It is really, really easy. It only fits in one place. It's that cable there that you plug in. The Y takes the power and converts it to there, and still sends it up to the marquee like before. So now every time you turn your ALU on, the IRs get power as well. So we obviously took the back cover off. As you can see, the power panel is there. You don't need to do that, probably won't want to do that. When you put the cover back on, as AtGames suggests themselves for some of their installs, if you just don't put the screw in this bottom corner, then you can kind of just leave the cables hanging out. For powering up the arcade, if you're using our auto power bar, then the ALU power supply will be plugged into arcade, and the PC will be plugged into PC. And when you connect it that way, then when you turn the ALU on, the PC will automatically start up. So it's as simple as plugging the power back into the arcade. The PC powers in the bottom right corner. If you don't use our power bar, however, all you need to do is hit the power button on and off of the PC right there. Pretty easy. Okay, all plugged in and booted up. We've added our USB button, which we'll talk about in 1 second. We'll talk about the light gun in 1 second. So the Legends is booted up into standard mode, and you could run coin ops if you would like. We are going to flip over to PC mode by hitting this button. We're just changing the screen at this point. That's what that button does. And now we are running our PC build. The controls do not work because we have not switched USB over. If we switch the USB over with that button there, now the controls work.
Where should we hunt today?
Connected. Pixelcade can be transferred over as well. You may need to reboot in between changing back and forth. So we're in here. We can play our arcade games, and they will work just great for player 1 and for player 2. Oh, we have to join player 1. There you go. And quitting is mapped there as well. Classic Commando.
Welcome to Whitetail Adventure.
So if we want to play some gun games, we have a few choices. We can plug the gun USB just right into the PC like that. Retro shooter will be connected. You can pull out your light gun, navigate with your light gun, but because we changed the controls over, you can also navigate with the control button. So we press start, and trying to shoot and hold the camera at the same time is not the easiest thing to do. Anyway, that's how that works. You can quit from the gun. You can quit from the control deck. And you're good to go. So that's one way to connect the gun. There is another. One thing people may want to do is set up the retro shooter hub right here. This is an easy way to plug in the pedals if you do that. You can plug in the gun and you can turn the hub on and off with a switch that's on the hub. This is powered right now through the old Pandora box plug. If you powered this with a separate AC adapter from the back, a 24 volt for instance for your Reaper, then you could plug in the recoil here without having any problem with the screen flickering. So there's a number of different options. That is kind of a neat one. bad.
Got him.
So if we go back over to our PC, we're just going to turn it off with the power button. Then we're going to stick in one of our USB key builds. And let's power it back up and see what happens. Okay, after we boot up our racing USB key, we can clip on our handy racing deck. First, going to plug our pedals in. We do have some different options for pedals, including Thrustmaster mounts that can work with our riser. If you bring out some power from the back, then you can plug your rumble power in right here, nice and easy. Turn that power off while we're here. And then we're going to plug in the USB. You will notice there's two controllers still because this control deck is still plugged in. We don't actually want those controllers, they may interfere with the steering wheel. So we're going to take our USB off and then plug in the steering wheel. Simple as that. Nice and clean. Our wheel is now connected and we can go and find a game to play. Can't go wrong with Daytona. And we're off. Just like that. Nice and easy. Play high quality racing games on our USB stick build that runs on the PC. The nice thing about this USB build is you can use our racing deck, of course, but it'll also support other third-party wheels. Let's check that out. Okay, now we've hooked up a Logitech 920 using our wheel stand. A little bit more work, but not that much. Then connect it to the PC, powered it, and because this build supports all these different controllers, we can now drive as Woody. Okay, but what if we told you there's still more? We're going to shut this one down and we're going to switch the keys over for one more thing for you to check out. Okay, here's one more thing for you to look at. There's going to be a variety of different layouts and setups that we are going to be having for our 360 wheel. So obviously this isn't ready quite yet, but just wanted you to see that it's going to be possible from the light gun PC to be able to throw USB in when you get our 360 wheel and just start playing. There will of course be a variety of ways to use our 360 wheels, whether you put 3 of them on instead of the Legends deck, or if you use our pedestal, or maybe it's 2-player build that we're working on. But in any case, once it's available, you're going to be able to do this. If we can get by the slow cars. All this right off a USB stick that you can stick into our light gun PC. Light gun PC kit will be available soon. All these other add-ons coming down the road.